A warm welcome back to the Hownhall Shooting YouTube channel, and today is the start of our new mini-series, Targets. Now this is a little series where we're going to endeavour to show you, the shooter, how to get set up and approach a range of what we call English sporting targets. Today, however, we're going to start with what some would class as a bit of a nemesis shot, which is the dead straight driven. Now, if we've got any game shooters watching, you'll know that this is, a rare bird in the field, as largely you'd find things veering off left and right to varying degrees. But if we can get the approach right on the straight one, incorporate our timing, then anything else after that should be far more approachable. So let's take a look on how we get ready to approach this bird. Pull. Pull. Now, just for clarity, I just want to show you the two styles that we're going to use today to shoot the driven target. Now, we all know there's three styles. There's maintain lead, swing through, and indeed pull away, which is otherwise known as the method. Now, maintain lead, we're not going to touch today. Some people who shoot that style would turn sideways and take the bird as a crosser. That's fine. There is another unique approach, which some might sort of adhere to, but it's a bit of a weird one. Maybe we'll save that for another day. So just for clarity, I'm going to show you the two approaches that we're going to use today, which is swing through and pull away, otherwise known as the method. Firstly, swing through. I've got my rough props here, keeping it sustainable. A stick, which is going to be the gun, and an old clay from the woods behind us. That's obviously when Jack was shooting last week. Old cameraman, probably missed that one. Okay, I'm going to hold the target upside down, just for clarity. Obviously, they usually fly that way. Let's look at it in slow-mo. Let's look at swing through first. Bird's coming straight towards us. We insert the muzzle in behind the bird, and then power, swing through, bang, take the shot. Okay, so we're going behind, swinging through, bang, take the shot. Now, a little sideline point with that target. If that is your style, remember not to go in too far underneath or behind. So many people apply what I might call back lead, and all the power's wasted behind the bird to then give less lead at the front, which then of course will create a miss behind. Think of it as a foot, no more, okay? I don't want you to measure, I don't want to get too involved, but just think a foot, or tight in behind the bird, tight in, swing through, bang, okay? Nice and simple, nice and neat. The second example is, of course, a pull away. So slightly different. Again, bird coming towards us, gun's going to mount onto the target, or muzzle onto the target, and then press the gas, accelerate, bang, take the shot. So bird comes out, on, away, bang. Okay, two nice neat formats. Now, I will just say, if you're currently having lessons with someone and you're on it, you're on fire, don't deviate. Okay, there's lots of different ways to skin a cat. If you found your own groove, stick with that. But this is our take, and this is showing you the straight driven bird with these two styles. Let's look at the setup. Okay, shot setup for the driven target. Remember, we're looking at a dead straight driven. So in effect, it's coming, let's say, from 12 o'clock in front of us, straight over our head, maybe disappearing towards 6 o'clock. Just play along. All right, let's start from the ground up. Target's at 12, so our front foot is going to be pointing off to 1 o'clock. Ditto back foot going off to 2 o'clock. Okay, so target 12, front foot 1, back foot 2. If you've seen our mount practice video, you'll notice we do exactly the same in that. It's a generic thing. Now, don't be scared though for that to evolve. If you become proficient and more comfortable and your feet are slightly, either side of that position, don't sweat it. The idea is that you're shooting neatly, and if you're out in the field, you're giving or creating nice, humane, clean kills, all right? So it's you feeling comfortable ultimately. But for the purposes of today, let's just keep it absolutely generic. Quick run back, 12 o'clock target, front foot 1 o'clock, back foot 2 o'clock. Now, from here, the weight's slightly on the front foot. Nose over toes is a commonly used comment to get people forward, and that position indeed aids gun fit. From there, the stock's coming up on the side of the chest. Ready position, start the rib cage, muzzle in relation to topography. Now, Jack might show you shortly what we're looking at. We've actually got a driven target coming out over some trees. So I'd suggest that we have that muzzle literally just below the tips of the trees. It aids an early movement, a nice clean fluid process through the bird. And if one was in the field, it enables you a panoramic view to move the body, move the feet, and look at different options. Just for today, we're going to have the muzzle just below the tips of the trees. Okay, so stock back on the chest, start a rib cage, muzzle on the tip of the trees. We're looking at the two styles, swing through and pull away, as I said earlier. You're not going to see the difference now, but let's just go through the motion pretending we're doing either of those styles. Target comes out, we either mount the muzzle behind or on the target, bring the stock into the cheek. Then we'll continue on powering the muzzle through with the left hand, slight arch in the back, to then take the shot. Okay, now you may have heard people talking about transferring weight from front foot to back foot. If that works for you, then I'm not going to argue, but our style is about getting the power in the driving hand. I'm a right-handed shooter, power's in the left arm. Reverse that round, if you're a left-handed shooter, power's going to be in the right arm. Quick run through again from the ready position, seeing the bird, on or behind, cheek, through, bang, take the shot. Let's load the gun and do it for real. Pull. So let's take a look in detail and break down these two different styles. Okay, now we're going to look firstly at the swing through, and you'll notice from the frame the muzzle's being mounted up behind the target as the stock comes into the cheek to then power through and take that shot. Really tidy and nicely timed. If we then compare that to the other style, which of course is pull away, still nice and smooth, we've still got our timing. So let's break that down into just a tiny bit more detail. You'll notice now, rather than behind, the muzzle's coming up and onto the target with the stock in the cheek. Same power, providing then a lovely, nice, neat shot. Let's split these two things apart and just have a look at them in tandem. Fluid movement, behind or on the target, nice timing, and a really neat shot. And just one last example here for clarity, both going up, both coming through and away, bang, job done. Pull. Okay, so you've seen a little bit of shooting action. Now I'm going to run through a couple of approaches on swing through and then a couple on the pull away method. Let's have a go. And pull. One, two, three. And now the pull away. Pull. One, two, three. Okay, we've seen both styles. Let's go and take a detailed look at how we incorporate the timing. All right, we've seen some shooting. I've showed you the two different styles, swing through, pull away. And you'll notice in both scenarios, I counted to 3. And there's a reason for that. Lots of people struggle with lead. How much lead do I give? How do I measure lead? Well, you don't. It's quarry or target speed versus muzzle speed. Now, I showed you an example earlier with my trusty sustainable items pulled from the woods of the two different styles of shooting. I'm going to show you now timing, and for no reason I'm going to use the swing through, all right? But it's the same on any style, even maintain lead. So just to run through, swing through, target comes out, muzzle behind, swing through, bang, take your shot, okay? Now let's put some timing into it. And we've all got to find our own tempo. Some people are quite slow, some people are a bit sharper. We find a tempo and then we apply that tempo to whatever speed the target is. Now that probably sounds like a bit of a head fry. Let me try and put it into some form of clarity. Okay, so swing through. Let's just play along and pretend we've got a slow bird, okay? And now I'm going to count to 3 and go through, swing through, and we'll see what lead we get. So here comes the bird. Here it comes. Gun comes up. 1, 2, 3. There's the lead, whatever it is, okay? Same tempo, faster bird. Let's have a try at that. Pull, 1, 2, 3. Greater lead. So it's muzzle speed versus target. Now, the interesting thing is that, as most of you will probably well know, as soon as you mount up behind on a driven bird, a straight driven bird, or indeed onto it, a split second later you can't see the bird. You're pulling away or you're pulling through, it disappears out of sight. So how can you measure lead? You can't. So you absolutely have to rely on timing. Yes, if the bird's quartering or crossing, then of course you can see the whole picture, but you don't want to get into the habit of measuring, because that would normally end up in the gun stopping or it's just not fluid. It's just not, it's not going to flow. It's going to catch you out. So think of timing, coming up, coming through, pulling the trigger. 1, 2, 3. The speed of the muzzle relates to the target that's presented to you. That's down to you to practice. That's time spent, okay? But once you find that sort of magic moment where you're not too slow and you're not erratically fast, you find it, you feel it, and then you're away, and it's a lovely thing. So think about timing and have a practice with pulling through targets and just find your natural tempo. Now, things that can go wrong. You'll notice there's a couple of clips on the end of this where I've tried to show some of the more common mistakes that will cost you the target or the bird, okay? The first one is stopping the gun, and ironically that's usually down to an overzealous muzzle speed. Oh, we've gone up really quickly, damn, we better stop, bang, and we still miss behind. You'll notice a couple of the others are mismounting. One of them's very subtle, does come into the cheek, but it's not under the cheekbone, it's down on the lower jaw. So just enough to reposition that muzzle to somewhere it shouldn't be. The second one, a little bit more obvious. The stock's coming up, it's coming into the shoulder. Then I'm finding the stock with the cheek. The muzzle's offline. There's a myriad of positions here where one can bring the stock into the chest, adjust the head to suit. You're looking over the end of the gun, but the gun's not aligned with the eye. And then the shot's coming out and it's just going further and further and further off target. Okay, so that comes back to why we do that steady cheek, move, shoot. And then of course incorporating our nice fluid timing. I hope that's all made some sense. I hope we've added some value, and I'll look forward to seeing you again on targets. Okay, just a quick note at this point. The eagle-eyed amongst you will notice that I'm not wearing eye protection. Now I must say, on this particular day, with contact to the camera and the want to create a nice crisp film, I took it upon myself not to wear glasses. Now I've got to make it absolutely clear, when you are shooting, it is imperative to wear head, ear and eye protection. This was my choice on the day, but please don't copy me.